There's been something really special about the new status quo of X-Men, where the X-Men are currently operating out of the nation state of Krakoa. But Krakoa isn't even all of the property that the X-Men are currently in control of. They even have the planet Mars, which they were able to go ahead and terraform into the planet Arakko. The X-Men were able to kind of utilize the planet Arakko for the Araki mutants who recently lost their home and were able to go ahead and reside over on this planet. But the X-Men wanted to ensure that they had one of their own living among the Araki and were able to go ahead and crown Storm as the ruler of Arakko. Over in the pages of XMenRed, I've been loving the dense and complex plotting, the tie ins to Judgment Day, and the sense of violence that writer Al Ewing and artists Stefano Caselli and Jacopo Camagni have been contributing to the series. My name is Arakko, and today, let's go ahead and dive deep into XMenRed number 10 to see just how deep and intriguing this series has become over the past 9 issues. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy our content, and why not go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy our videos as well. I want to introduce the context behind this brand new X-Men issue by reading Marvel's solicitation text for the issue. It's all led up to this. In the blazing ruins of the Autumn Palace, Storm battles for the soul of Arakko. Meanwhile, Abigail Brand and Roberto da Costa play their last cards, and a sinister hand deals the Ace of Spades. You won't believe where this Brotherhood goes from here. And I want to introduce the creative team behind this issue. This issue is written by Al Ewing. We have art from Stefano Caselli and Jacopo Camagni, colors from Federico Blee. We have letters from VC's Ariana Maher, and our cover today is illustrated by Russell Dauterman and features some artwork from Matthew Wilson. Here's a look at the gorgeous cover over to XMenRed number 10. I love the composition of this particular cover and how it calls back some previous covers over on XMenRed as well. So this is quite the issue here, as we have a major battle between kind of Abigail Brand and everybody else, over in the XMenRed kind of story, as well as the planet Arakko. So Abigail Brand has had a really kind of, careful plan that she's plotted out over the past couple issues, and we're just now finally seeing kind of some of the fruits of her labor come to fruition here as we get a really climactic battle in this particular issue between Vulcan and Storm. I love like kind of the really hyper violent way this issue plays out. And I think for the large part, this is helped through the bombastic facial expressions from artist Stefano Caselli that we can see here with Vulcan. Honestly, this series has made me laugh so much just through the art alone because Caselli draws such kind of intense character expressions, and you would expect these kinds of character, expressions to be in like silly titles. But XMenRed is plotted in such a sort of dense capacity that it gives it this sort of, silly effect where we're reading a really serious story, but it's being presented to us in a way that's almost ironic at certain points. And it's really kind of interesting how essentially this entire chapter is really all about the sort of, insurrection that Abigail Brand is trying to mount, as essentially Cable takes a small team of heroes over to the World Farm as they begin to just explore how deep Abigail Brand's extracurricular activities have gotten over in the pages of XMenRed, and it's really fascinating and intriguing to see kind of their exploration. And there's also several moments here where we tease kind of a new status quo revelation for the Manifold character, who I've also really enjoyed for a long time, and I can't wait to see kind of a new plot direction or him utilized in a different context. There were all sorts of seeds planted for Manifold throughout the issue that I hope we get to see once, Sins of Sinister and several other items have kind of calmed down over at Marvel. Um, you know, the main foil for Abigail Brand, I feel at this point, is Roberto da Costa, Sunspot, and boy, does Sunspot have some really fantastic moments in this issue. He's had some great moments last issue as well, but seeing him in this kind of new context and really being able to take on a Titan like Abigail Brand is just such a great kind of plot development and direction for this character to go down. I really enjoy the kind of cat and mouse game that this series has going on right now, because it's kind of like there's multiple factions fighting over the planet of Arakko, and essentially it's up to the reader to make sure that they know what's happening with each character. I especially like the fact that this isn't even kind of the last issue that's going to be dealing with this sort of insurrection that Abigail Brand was trying to mount, as we get a little bit of a tease at what she could be up to, next in some of the future issues of the series. And also, I did enjoy some of the pencils from Jacopo Camagni. I think Jacopo Camagni is able to really kind of bring out a different side of XMenRed that Stefano Caselli is able to kind of induce in the series, as the pencils from Amagni are a little bit more kind of streamlined and kind of measured in their responses. So I think it allows for a little bit more subtlety than you get with some of the scenes with Stefano Caselli. And I think that Al Ewing really utilizes the Abigail Brand really well in the context during the scene with Amagni as well. And finally, I really enjoyed like the last couple pages. They were a massive curveball in this issue that's just kind of filled with curveball after curveball after curveball. But I was curious with how Marvel was going to lead up to the Sins of Sinister crossover with the X-Men. And I don't want to give away essentially how this issue ties into XMenRed, or excuse me, not XMenRed, but Sins of Sinister, because I think that this series is going to keep you guessing until the last couple pages. So those are my thoughts on XMenRed number 10. I think this is a really kind of special issue that does so many things. It really helps give kind of a momentary conclusion for a really important storyline that's been playing out months and months in the series. It gives a really kind of intriguing next step for Marvel to kind of explore the Sins of Sinister through the eyes of XMenRed. And also, there's several kind of plot developments in here that are going to have big revelations for the nation state of Krakoa. So I want to know from you, did you enjoy XMenRed as much as I did? And before we wrap up the video today, I just want to say that it's honestly been a pleasure to go ahead and talk about this series. It's been an extremely long time since I covered XMenRed, which I think is a bit of a shame because, to be honest, this is one of the single best series, I would say my absolute top 5 of Marvel's current publishing line. And I hope that once Sins of Sinister is able to conclude, that Marvel is just going to keep, publishing XMenRed as normal once the crossover is ended, because this title really has had some of, I think, the best characterization across the X-Men line of titles. So that's going to do it for our video today. I want to know from you if you like this issue as much as I did. Thank you guys so much for checking out our content, and we'll be back really soon for more X-Men and Marvel madness. We'll see you soon.